About a year ago, I found myself at a crossroads I never expected. Redundancy. It's a word that hits really hard. That said, it was familiar as I'd been a victim of redundancies twice before. For a moment, it felt like the rug had just been pulled out from under me, and I remember sitting in this office, Tight Spot Studio, staring out of the window, wondering what would be next. The security of a regular monthly salary, the routine, the team I was working with, all gone. Was I happy though? Did I enjoy working for the bosses that I had? That's a series of completely different questions with completely different answers. As the dust settled, I realised something. Every ending is the start of something new. And for me, that was the beginning of becoming a freelancer. This is my year's story. Grab a cup of something good and let's get into it. Freelancing was nowhere on my radar. That said, I'd always admired and respected those people that could actually start something up, that could build something from scratch, who could hustle, create their own opportunities and carve their own path. The idea was a little bit daunting for me given my age, stage of life, having a family that were very much reliant on me to financially provide for them. Being candid, personally, I didn't feel the direction of my previous employer resonated with my own personal values, which got me thinking, either this changes or I change, and I wasn't changing anytime soon. I wanted freedom, I wanted to diversify my income, I wanted to work with people that I respected, who I could learn from, that I believe in, and also believed in their values. As a byproduct of becoming a freelancer, I could set my own hours, I could learn different skills, whatever skills I wanted, and I could keep my mind sharp whenever I wanted to. I decided to give it a shot. I purged everything associated with my previous employer and set about recalibrating myself, my mind, my space for rebooting my old company. The first few weeks were absolute lunacy. There were days where I felt absolutely on top of the world, and I thought, yeah, I can do this. A bit of focus, come on Norf, you got this. And then there were days where I questioned absolutely everything. Would I find enough work? Was I good enough to do this? Was I making a huge mistake? Would it just be easier just to go and get a job, assuming that I could get past the AI filtering systems that companies have in place right now, and just to speak to a human? Could I scale? What if this? What if that? I'm sure your mind has probably come up with a lot more questions as well. I remember one night waking up at 2:35 a.m. tweaking a proposal for a potential client. Team Norf were all asleep, the house was quiet. I was running on coffee and sheer positivity. This was how it looked like I was going to survive, to keep the wolves from the door. Every win, every loss, or learning opportunity I like to call them, was all on me. Massive pressure. With that pressure though came a sense of ownership. Those that know me well will often state that I'm forever the optimist. I celebrated small victories, sending an invoice, getting positive feedback, even just making it through a tough week. The last 12 months freelancing in my business have really been a lot of ups and downs, but I'll come to that a bit later. Freelancing has forced me to wear a lot of hats. I became a marketeer, a project manager, and even an IT support person. C-level to cleaner, as it were, the whole bit. Now, I'm not an expert in any of these things by any stretch of the imagination. However, if I stayed put with my previous employer, I would not have learned any of these elements. I'm still learning. I'm always open to constructive feedback, even if it can be difficult to hear. I've made a mountain of mistakes over these last 12 months. I've undercharged, I've overcommitted. However, here's the thing. Every mistake offers a valuable opportunity to learn. And a year on, I'm still struggling with a few things like time management, for example, and keeping work at work and not letting it spill into every part of my life. And as a freelancer, your mind is always whirring with different ideas and thoughts and things you could be doing and things you should be doing. But with that, I've set healthy boundaries and I've tried to stick to them. Not just for clients, but also myself. I've learned to schedule downtime and schedule breaks, to say no when I need to, and to prioritize not just myself, but also Team Norf. Slowly and surely, things started to click into place. I landed my first client, to which I will be forever grateful. A project that paid the bills, gave me confidence, and to work with people that I respected and knew I could create an impact for. I cleared some debts that were hanging over our heads for years. I also started to see the positive impact on Team Norf, on my family. Less stress, more time together, and a sense of pride that I was building something for us as a family. One of the best surprises of freelancing are the people that I've met along the way. Clients who have become collaborators, and collaborators who have become really good friends. I've always valued community ever since I was small. And freelancing can be a very lonely place, but it doesn't have to be. I've joined online groups, attended a few virtual meetups as well, and reached out to other freelancers and business owners for advice and counsel. We've shared tips, celebrated wins, and commiserated over setbacks, and learned from those opportunities. That sense of connection has made all the difference. Looking back, I would say freelancing has been my biggest teacher. It's taught me persistence and resilience, how to keep going even when things get really difficult. It's taught me adaptability, how to pivot when plans change or projects fall through. And it's also taught me the importance of self-care. I realised that even freelancers need NPTO, non-paid time off, to recharge and stay creative. I've learned to embrace the ups as well as the downs. A friend of mine often says you can't appreciate the heights of the mountains without going through the depths of the valleys. Some months have been absolutely flat out busy, while others have been much quieter. Some projects were an absolute joy, others were a bit of a grind. But through all of it, I've grown, not just as a professional, but also as a true Norf. Freelancing is a balancing act. On the one hand, there's freedom, the ability to choose your work, your hours, your clients, and even the space that you work from. On the other hand, there's responsibility, the decision, the deadlines, the invoicing, all of that is on you. I'm finding that I don't get the time to mentally switch off, but that said, I'm working through all of that. But if you have tips on how to mentally switch off as a business owner or a freelancer, do drop a comment. I would love to hear. One of the key things is structure, and I've found that structure is just as important as creativity. I've set routines, I track my progress, and I've held myself accountable. But I also have made space for some spontaneity, new ideas for family adventures, and the unexpected joys that come with working for yourself. As far as the future goes, I'm really excited. I've set new goals, bigger projects, there are new collaborations that I have on the horizon, and a desire to help others who are thinking about making that leap from full-time to freelance or becoming a business owner. I'm keen to share what I've learned, to support others on their journey, and to keep growing, both personally and professionally. In many ways, I feel like I'm just getting started and still have so much to learn. However, from my 12 months worth of limited experience, if you're thinking about freelancing or starting up your own business, here's what I'd say. Firstly, start small, but start. Be patient, celebrate every win, no matter how tiny you think it may be. Don't be afraid to ask for help. Build your network, invest in yourself, invest in skills that you need. You may know that when it comes to skills, I'm a firm believer that skills are the currency for the work of tomorrow. And remember also why you're starting. There will be tough days, there will be setbacks. However, there are also moments of sheer euphoria, of pride and of freedom that will all make it worthwhile. I'm only a year into my new story, new lessons and a journey that I never expected to take. If you're standing at your own crossroads, know that you're not alone. The path isn't always clear, but it's yours to walk, yours to make up, yours to pivot should you need to. Here's to new beginnings, to growth, to writing your own story and carving your own path. One day, one project, one leap of faith at a time. Thank you so much for getting to this point. Do let me know in the comments if you're thinking about starting up your own business or even rebooting your old company. Also, let me know what field that you'll be conducting business in. I would love to know. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Oh, that's just water. Honest, it's just, look, can you smell it? It is just water, genuinely.